Good evening, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to our webinar on guarding privacy, revealing hidden sensitive data with generative AI. My name is Anirban, and I will be moderating today's session. At the end of the webinar, we will also have a Q&A session. So please feel free to type the same on the Q&A query box, and we'll take it up one by one. In today's data-driven world, protecting sensitive information is more critical than ever. The rise of generative AI offers revolutionary capabilities in identifying and safeguarding hidden sensitive data, ensuring comprehensive data privacy and security. Generative AI is not just a technological advancement, but a transformative approach to data privacy. By integrating AI-driven security practices, organizations can uncover and protect sensitive data seamlessly, reducing risk and enhancing compliance. This webinar will guide you through keynote on data exposure and practical applications of generative AI in the realm of data security. I'm honored to welcome our esteemed panelist for today. He's someone who has over 2 decades of cybersecurity experience. He has led the development of SIEM solutions that process large-scale security event logs with low latency. His work has featured rich products providing crucial threat intelligence insights, enabling analysts and SOC team to build strong defenses against hackers and state-sponsored threats. Let's welcome Mr. Amit Arora, Senior Manager, Microsoft. Now, he's someone who excels in designing systems and applications with expertise in microservice architecture, Docker-based services, API, and database design and virtualization. He has developed solutions for SDN, fog computing, secure virtualization, e-commerce, cybersecurity, and generative AI. In AI, he has tackled various problems and leveraged large language models for advanced applications. Let's welcome Mr. Vijay Makijani, Software Solution Architect, ACL Digital. Now, he's someone who has over 20 years of extensive experience in enterprise security, networks, and storage products. With a solid background in these critical technology areas, he has consistently showcased his expertise in leading engineering teams and driving the development of innovative solutions. Let's welcome Swapnil Nayak, Senior Director of Engineering, ACL Digital. Their wealth of experience and expertise will undoubtedly enrich our discussion today. Let us embark on this enlightening journey. Now, let's talk about our parent company, Alten Group. So Alten Group is headquartered in France and has around 50,000 plus globally deployed employees. We have served upwards of 6,500 clients and are still counting. We have a global presence in 30 plus countries and have grossed a turnover of around $4 billion last fiscal year. We have a global network of digital and engineering talent. The rest of the world, employees are around 17,900 and Europe around 36,200. Now, let's talk about ACL Digital. ACL Digital is 100% wholly owned subsidiary of Alten Group. We have served the industry for over 3 decades and created a niche in almost every industry vertical out there. We have catered to Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies in digital commerce, health tech, med tech, retail tech, life sciences, telco, and NIEM, and the tech domains. Our customers are industry ISVs who cater further to the provider industry. We are a ISO 9001-2015 and ISO 27001 certified, CMMI Dep SVC Level 3 certified, compliant with TMMI Foundation, and have ISTQB certified testers. Our key differentiators are as follows: domain expertise, proven track record, end-to-end solutions, innovation and adaptability, client-centric approach, and strategic partnerships. Now, let's talk about today's agenda of this webinar. So we'll talk about data breach, report and information protection. We'll talk about technology transformation, generative AI and recommended reads. We'll talk about data search, privacy paradox, and sensitive data safeguarding, how generative AI helps in identifying the sensitive data and data exposure features and differentiators. At the end, we will also give you a demo. So with this, let me hand over the dice to Mr. Amit Arora, Senior Manager, Microsoft. Over to you, Amit, and welcome.
Thank you, Anirban. Good morning, good evening to everyone based on where you joined from. This is amazing. We got so many cybersecurity professionals, experts, and leaders all descending today in this webinar. We are here to discuss the present and future of cybersecurity. We are observing a landmark shift in the technology with AI, LLMs, and new ML models. Cyber threats and attacks are growing at an alarming rate. The attacks are becoming more sophisticated, with individual threat actors and state sponsored groups using every possible technology to camouflage, hide, and stay under covers. Attackers fly low and slow to remain undetected by the security radars. Some of these attacks are very targeted and used as weapons of war. The scale and sophistication of these attacks has grown exponentially. A recent survey shows 10x growth in password related attacks, growing from 3 billion to 30 billion. There is also a significant rise in the number of attackers. The number of significant attackers being tracked for financial and nation state jumped up to 300 from 200 just a year before. The cost of cybersecurity anti-economy is expected to reach about $8 trillion. Just to put this into perspective, this would be number 3 in terms of GDP, putting it behind US and China. And the growth rate of this economy is faster than the fastest growing economy, that is India. Attackers have to be right just once, but our defense has to be right 100% of the time to safeguard ourselves. On average, security teams use more than 80 security tools. We are already short of 500,000 or 500,000 cybersecurity jobs in US alone, and a global shortage of 3.5 million cybersecurity professionals. So the resources are limited, and so is the expertise. We ought to be able to do more with less. Can we move to the next slide, please? So while the present is changing so rapidly, so is the immediate future. Hence, taking a pause and asking a question that why now? Why does now matter more than ever? Well, every device, every piece of information, whether it is at our office, our home, everything we do is transforming at an insane pace of innovation. New attack surfaces and new attack vectors are emerging like never before. Companies and organizations are doing everything possible to keep up with the speed of technology shift by using AI. AI has become a primitive. We are witnessing an amazing level of AI shift. The lines between humans and technology are being redefined in the form of emotional intelligence, LLMs, location smartness, voice assistants, and the list is endless. So while the technology is shaping our future as a consumer, the age-old controls and security mechanisms also need to change and must be redefined. We are at the cusp of shifting from the old cybersecurity mindset onto the new, enhanced, feature-rich, fast, and effective ways of cyber defense and information protection. The paradigm shift towards the use of AI and LLMs have changed the consumer market, and it makes complete sense to revamp our game for data security against the bad actors. The technology and tech stack that is shaping the present should also be leveraged to become the building block of our cyber defense strategy. We create digital knowledge, and when it comes to information protection, this information and digital knowledge gets stored, viewed, transferred, shared, and disseminated. We must protect this information. So we built and leverage an ecosystem of billions of sensors and humongous amount of audit data to slice and dice to make smart decisions. And while in this process, we evaluate how to audit and protect this critical information and make smarter decisions. So, for a comprehensive cyber defense for information protection, threat detection, incident response, I strongly believe in the three T's, which is tools, technologies, and trainings. Investments in the right tools and technologies can provide returns by many folds to any and all organizations. Can we move to the next slide, please? So let us double click and zoom into the first T, which is tools. For today's discussion, we'll look at the largest and most advanced platform to understand how it has evolved rapidly and become the centerpiece of inspiration to cyber defense strategy. The present, as I must say, is the co-pilot phase at Microsoft, which has truly become an everyday AI companion for everyone. Copilot for Microsoft 365, GitHub Copilot, Azure AI Studio, and even build your own Copilot. For context and this audience, the Copilot for security helps security analysts multiply their productivity by providing them information at their fingertips with natural language prompts. An analyst can ask questions or supply a piece of code and get answers to make their research fast and effective. Prompts can be grouped into collection of prompt books. The prompt trails are saved and can be audited. Prompts can be shared and worked as a collaboration item within the security research team. You could even reverse engineer a script using Copilot. With Security Copilot, the need to switch between consoles is drastically reduced or even eliminated. Well, products like Copilot can be a game changer for your cyber defense plan. You can achieve things in minutes which used to take hours and days. Security Copilot is fine tuned for security use cases with up to date information feeds. It, it has LoRa fine tuning method, which is specific to detection response, summarization, and much more. Copilots and LLMs maintain context, which means we can continue drilling deeper and resume from a certain thread like a user account to IP address to an attack and its associated logs. The contextual information helps maintain a trail of events and simplifies the work of your cybersecurity team. While Copilot is just an example, it, it appears to me as a foundation of our future. We are witnessing a history in the making. Next slide, please. So, to summarize, I conclude by saying that we are a mission industry and cybersecurity is a team sport. We will win this game against bad actors only when we bring our advancements into the core of security and defense. Finally, I highly recommend everyone to read the Microsoft Digital Defense Report 2023 and also about the Microsoft Secure Future Initiative or the SFI strategy that covers all aspects of cybersecurity and cyber defense. SFI provides a comprehensive pane to look at protecting critical assets, critical information, and intellectual property. With that, I would like to hand it over to our next speaker, Vijay. Thank you.
Thank you, Amit, for sharing your valuable insights and a warm welcome to everyone again. Now, let's dive into the next part of our presentation where we shall address the explosion of data and its significant privacy concerns. In today's digital age, where the number of internet users and connected devices are constantly growing, we are generating and storing more data than ever before. On social media platforms, users are generating data in petabytes every day. through every post, like, share, and comment they do. Vast amount of emails and other documents are getting stored on the cloud. IoT devices such as smartphones, smart appliances, smart thermostats, and they constantly collect and transmit large volumes of data. Essentially, every online interaction from browsing websites to using apps generates data. From this image on the left, we clearly see the pace at which data is exploding, and it is projected to increase 8 to 10 times every 5 years. Now, what do the organizations do with this data? They leverage this data and provide users with the convenience of personalized user experience, social connection, faster checkouts, and lot more. They also optimize their services and drive innovation with this data. So, no doubt there are numerous benefits to this data explosion, but it also raises significant privacy concerns. Users share the data for the convenience of online services they get, but they also express their anxiety about data breaches and the potential misuse of their information. They want to stay engaged in online activities, but they demand higher privacy protections. So, to balance this innovation and privacy, governments and regulatory bodies are increasingly stepping in to address these concerns. We shall discuss more about this in later slides. Now, let's understand what is sensitive data. It refers to any information that, if disclosed, could cause harm, discrimination, financial loss, or reputational damage. And this sensitive data is a prime target for hackers. It includes your PII, say your name, social security number, Aadhaar number, address, phone number, right? Your financial information like bank account details, credit card numbers, health information like your medical records, intellectual property such as your trade secrets, confidential business plans, or legal information like contracts, litigation documents, and a lot more. Okay. Now, let's discuss why it is crucial to recognize this sensitive data. First of all, it helps protecting intellectual property. Take an example of a software development company who invested significant resources in creating a groundbreaking algorithm. For them, source code, algorithm, product design, it's an intellectual property. And failing to identify and protect this intellectual property can result in unauthorized use and replication by competitors, resulting in significant financial loss, legal issues, and it impacts the long term success and sustainability of the organization. Another important one is maintaining customer trust. Most of the customers will not do a business with a company if they have concerns about its security practices. Then we have a regulatory compliance, regulations like GDPR in Europe and CCPA in US. They aim to give users more control over their data and hold organizations accountable for data protection. And failure to do so results in hefty fines and legal consequences. On the right, we highlight a few notable data breaches. In 2017, Equifax, a leading credit reporting agency, experienced a significant data breach exposing the personal information such as credit card numbers, birth date, and social security number of over 147 million people. In 2021, Facebook's data breach exposed contact numbers of 530 million users. In 2023, a cyber attack on Walmart exposed data for over 85,000 people, which includes customers' health information. Recently, in April 2024, AT&T informed 73 million current and former customers that their personal details, including their social security number and passcodes, were compromised and posted on the dark web. And there are many, many such examples. So, in an era where data breaches and cyber threats are increasingly common, protecting sensitive data is very crucial for the growth of the organization. Now, let's talk about generative AI. and some of its capabilities and techniques that helps to identify sensitive data. GenAI is one of the most significant advancement in data processing and security. It has an ability to understand, analyze, and generate human-like text. And this makes it an invaluable tool for identifying sensitive data within large datasets. First of all, first GenAI capability that I would like to highlight here is natural language processing. To process and understand unstructured text data, GenAI utilizes NLP. Okay? It can scan documents, emails, and any other text forms to identify sensitive information. For example, it understands and matches the structure of PII data like social security numbers, credit card numbers, and more, right? Then we have pattern recognition. So, no matter how large and complex data sets are, GenAI models can recognize specific patterns associated with sensitive data types. For example, if a GenAI system is trained on financial data, it can detect the bank account number and transaction details by recognizing patterns in numerical data formats. Another important one is contextual analysis. GenAI can analyze the context in which data appears. For an example, if the data belongs to healthcare sector, it understands the context and determines patient's medical history as sensitive. If data belongs to corporate, it understands the proprietary and legal consequences and determines any legal data or intellectual property as sensitive. Similarly, if data is of e-commerce app, it understands customers' PII or payment details are highly sensitive. So essentially, it understands the context and accordingly determine the sensitivity of the data. Another one is entity recognition. GenAI uses entity recognition techniques to automatically identify and classify sensitive entities within text. For an example, in a corpus of emails or documents, GenAI has the capability to extract and classify names, addresses, and any other PII information, and then we can flag them for protection. So, by leveraging advanced GenAI capabilities, we have developed a tool named Data Exposure. This tool identifies whether sensitive information in your database and cloud files, whether in text, PDF, CSV, or XLS format, whether it's stored in encrypted form or as a clear text. So before diving into the demo of data exposure, let's understand the key features, differentiators, and the tech stacks of this tool. So first, this tool provides enhanced security by detecting unencrypted sensitive data in both unstructured files and databases. And this proactive approach helps to prevent data breaches and unauthorized access. To ensure better governance of sensitive information, this tool classifies and prioritizes encryption efforts, which makes it easier for organizations to focus on the most critical areas first. It also ensures data encryption to meet regulatory standards such as GDPR, HIPAA, and CCPA. This compliance is crucial for avoiding legal penalties and maintaining customer trust. Using GenAI contextual analysis capabilities, this tool identifies sensitive data across various industries such as healthcare, finance, e-commerce, and more. Right? This tool enhances operational efficiency by automated data scanning of files and databases. It saves time and resources that would otherwise be spent on manual audits. Think of a manual data reviews. It can take many weeks or months or even years to complete. Our tool provides a complete report identifying PII in files stored on the AWS cloud. These are some of the key differentiators. Our tool is powered by advanced GenAI capabilities, which allows real-time detection of potential threats, ensuring that sensitive data is protected before any breach can occur. Connected data security with automation is another key differentiator. Our tool can be integrated to continuously monitor and identify sensitive data across multiple connected systems like your files and databases, which reduces the risk of human error and ensuring comprehensive protection. This tool can be used by compliance auditors to identify if the organizations meet all the regulatory requirements, thereby reducing the burden on IT and compliance teams. And the most important one is our tool integrates seamlessly as an SDK with the DevSecOps pipeline, which helps in identifying sensitive data throughout the development, testing, and deployment phases. And these are some of the tech stacks we leverage to develop this tool. Now, let me demonstrate the tool. So once you log in and then go under settings, you will see an option to connect to your database. It will ask you to fill in required DB details. I already connected a sample database from a healthcare domain. Okay. So before addressing data exposure, I would like to emphasize on one GenAI feature that is integrated within this app. To query data from the connected database, you don't need to write complex SQL queries involving multiple joins, subqueries, etc. Instead, you can express your query in simple English, and the tool will seamlessly translate your sentence into SQL and retrieve the relevant data from the connected database. So, if I can simply specify, say, show me the personal details, disease, and medical conditions of the patients treated by Dr. Megan Huge. Okay, I shall hit the query in some time. Now, coming back to the major objective of this tool helps to determine whether sensitive data in your database is stored in plain text or encrypted form. As per one of the cybersecurity principle known as defense in depth, critical data should never be stored in plain text within your database. Rather, it should always be encrypted. This way, even if an attacker breaches the database, crucial information remains protected, thereby preventing any compromise of data. Take an example of this healthcare sector. Patients' data is deemed critical because of its sensitive and private nature and its potential impact on an individual's well being and privacy. So, this tool will help you identify if your data is securely stored. While not all fields require encryption, but your PII data, your personally identifiable information such as patient's name, address, social security number, medical conditions, these cannot be revealed. These must be stored in encrypted form to prevent data disclosure. Now that we have linked to a healthcare database, so using GenAI capabilities, this tool understands that fields like name, address, medical conditions cannot be treated as sensitive. Should be treated basically, should be treated as sensitive. If this was a finance domain, the AI tool would have considered the different fields as sensitive, like your account number, credit card number, and so on. Okay, so I hit this query again. You can see the highlighted fields are those where data is stored in plain text, which ideally should be encrypted. So it knows social security number is also sensitive, but since it is already stored in encrypted form, so it is not flagged, while other fields are flagged. This tool has internally identified that address is PII and should be treated as sensitive. So even though we don't have an address field here, but it is smart enough to understand that fields like street, city, zip, state, country are part of an address and so they are highlighted. Now, sometimes this AI tool might not consider some fields as sensitive, but to you, these fields may be sensitive, and you want the tool to treat these fields as sensitive too. Okay, so here in this case, you may think that gender is also a sensitive information. So you have a flexibility to enable sensitivity check on gender or any other column which AI didn't recognize as sensitive. Okay, so I enable the sensitivity check on gender, and let me hit the same query again. Now you should see the gender would also be considered as a sensitive field. Yep. Now let's quickly take another example. Say, show me the doctor details of Southern California hospital. Okay. And if I hit this query, it is fetching the data from the database. Yeah, here it is. Now, you may think that doctor ID is also sensitive, and so you can go and enable sensitivity check. And if I run the same query again, we should see that doctor ID will also be considered as sensitive. Here it is. Yeah. So this was about identifying if data is safely stored in your database. Similarly, this tool also helps to identify if sensitive data is securely stored in your flat files on the cloud. Here we are particularly addressing files stored in AWS S3 buckets. So again, you can navigate to settings and connect your AWS account with this application, right? I already connected my AWS account. So let's go into the file section. In this file section, you'll see a list of all the S3 buckets that belongs to your account. Let's select, say I select this S3 bucket. Now you'll see all the files and folders within this S3 bucket. Let me select some of the text and CSV files and hit the scan operation. So after the scan is completed, you will see the security status of these files, kind of whether they are secure or insecure. And based on this, you can take necessary steps to protect your files. Currently, it's using GenAI capabilities to scan the files and identify sensitive information in these files. So here are the results. Okay. Now to understand why this tool considers a file as secure or insecure, we can click on this export button, and here's the report. Okay. So you can see the results. It scanned 3 files. In the first file, it found these fields as sensitive. Second text file doesn't contain any sensitive information. Third is the CSV file, and the data in all these columns is stored in plain text, which should have been stored in encrypted form. And based on these results, you can take the necessary protection steps. So currently, this tool has the capability to scan text files, TOCX, PDF, Excel, and CSV files. Plan is to support image and other file formats as well. And yes, that concludes the demonstration of this tool. We have explored how it helps identify if your data is securely stored in your databases and cloud files. Thank you. Yep. We are now open to any questions you may have.
So we have got our first question from Ankur Garg. Uh, so he's asking, is this relational database? Is this data stored in a single table or across multiple tables? Can you show the structure of the table if possible? His concern is if my database is of, let's say, 1 TB and have lakhs of tables, how will it work?
Yeah, so it offers support for most of the relational databases, and it need not be just a single table, right? It can be any number of tables, so it can have any number of data. So we are more concerned with the with just the schema of your database and not with the data. Okay, so it should support any relational database, and with any number of tables. Yep. Currently, the database that we are connected, it also includes around 8 to 10 tables. Okay, it's a sample database, but it includes 8 to 10 tables, having different tables in, like, having details about patients, doctors, medical histories and all. Yep. Hope this answers your question.
Okay, so we have another question from Santosh Mukavar. He says, thank you, Vijay, for the great session. I have a few questions and would appreciate your insights. Does the data exposure tool work with existing DevSecOps automation? And if so, how does it integrate? Second question is, what cloud storage and file type this tool support? And the third question is, can compliance auditor or security team use this tool for compliance assessments?
Okay. Yeah, let me address these one by one. So for your first question, whether it integrates with the DevSecOps pipeline. Yes, the tool is designed in that way. Okay, this tool seamlessly integrates as an SDK in our DevSecOps pipeline, identifying sensitive data throughout development, testing, and deployment phases. Okay, and sorry, what was the second question, Anirban?
What cloud storage and file types this tool support?
Yeah, so currently the tool scans text files, whether it's docx, right? PDF files, CSV, and XLS format files, okay, stored on AWS. So currently we are supporting AWS cloud storage, but we plan to add support for Azure cloud platform. And also we have a plan to add support for additional file formats like images. Yeah.
Okay,
And
so the third question is, can compliance auditor or security team use this tool for compliance assessment?
yes, definitely. So compliance auditors can use this tool to identify unencrypted sensitive data, and it helps in compliance assessments. Yep.
Okay. So we have another question from Sunil Verma.
Hmm.
So he's saying that is Gen API will help to detect mobile local database storage as well?
Can you come again? Sorry. Is Gen API?
Will help detect
Gen
mobile
AI. Okay.
local
You mean
uh,
Gen AI? Okay. Gen AI.
Gen
Mm-hmm.
AI
Mm-hmm.
will help to detect mobile local database storage as well.
So whatever database you connect to this system, okay, it will kind of identify sensitive information for that database, right? So and also we are providing this tool as an SDK, right? So it's like we are exposing APIs, okay? So developers can use this SDK and integrate it within their application and use it in each phase of their software development lifecycle. So yes, it can be integrated with any databases. So you have an ability to either connect your database with this application, or we provide an SDK, then you can use that SDK and use it within your application. Yeah.
Just to expand on this is Swapna, like, uh, if the as the question just states that you want to scan your mobile local database. So in this specific case, I would say there are two options. Is one, if any relational database that can be bought out of the mobile and hosted somewhere on a system, from where your data exposure tool can connect to, it should work. That's one option. The second option is you can build an app, which is like a wrapper client, which basically just calls the SDK. And that way you have an app running on your mobile, which can connect to the local database and scan and give you the response. So you have two options to basically identify sensitive information in your mobile local database.
Yep. Thanks, Swapnil.
Thank you. Okay. Any more questions? Please feel free to type. Okay, so we have a question from Amit Kumar Singh. In future, are you planning to include non-relational database too, or the tool will only support relational databases?
So at this point of time, Amit, we are closely working with our product teams, and based on the business use cases we get, we are further extending this solution. So if we have any requirements for non-relational databases, then we would be supporting them as well. At this point of time, we are only supporting relational databases.
Thank you.
I would also like to shed some light on question one from Ankur, where he's mentioned large number of tables, right? So even if you have hundreds of tables, um, the application should easily scale, because all that we are doing is in the application, we are just basically creating a dictionary of all the tables, and that we are feeding into our Gen AI algorithms to basically scan for sensitive data, right? So tables definitely is not a limitation. Uh, if we are talking about data within the tables, we have tested this for uh, large, meaning multiple GBs of data in the database, and it works well. We yet need to test for a TB, 1 TB of data. But definitely the number of tables is not a limitation.
Thank you. Any more questions, guys? Please feel free to type. Okay, so we have a question from Prabhakaran Murugados. Is there any plan to add suggestion how to remove the warning for the fields, like suggestions to avoid sensitive data stored?
Yes, we'll take it as an enhancement, because we know why a certain field is marked sensitive. And since we know the reason, uh, we also know the solutions, because one of the future plans of this product is not only help our customers identify sensitive information, but also help them to remediate, right? That's one of the future roadmap items. So that should solve the problem that we are not only identify warnings, but we also know how to solve them, and hence we can also provide suggestions.
Thank you. Okay, so another question from Ankur. Is this cloud solution or on-prem solution?
So this is what we are planning to share is a custom deployment package. because what we want to do is we want our customers to have a private instance wherein they can deploy this tool and have all this information within their private deployment, right? So at this point of time, you can, since it's a custom deploy, you can install it on a host on an on-prem server, or you can also provision a cloud instance to install this solution. So it doesn't really matter as long as you have a server that supports the deployment. We are good. Could be on-prem as well as cloud.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions? So Ankur states that thanks for the session, very insightful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ankur. Thanks. If there are no questions, then we can wrap up this session. Wait for next 2 minutes. Prabhakaran will share the recording session link. I think we can wrap up. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining the session today. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you, Amit. Thank you, Swapnil, for the session and for answering the questions. Certainly an insightful and certainly an insightful session. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, everyone, once again for attending. Have a great weekend ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.